Hi everyone. For the third topic in our weekly Wellbeing Academic Success series, we're going to talk about how you can make the most out of your flashcards. So the quick learning objectives that we have for this video are to be able to recognize different ways that flashcards can be used as a study tool. Specifically, we'll look at how we can use our flashcards to construct a concept map and develop a memory matrix. And then we'll also discuss how flashcards can be a great way to increase and enhance your group studying. So flashcards are something that we all know and love, right? They're this really classic study tool that we typically make using stacks and stacks of index cards where we write a term on the front and then a definition on the back, or maybe draw a certain tooth in the name or characteristics associated with that tooth on the back. That's sort of the old school way to do it, right? But there are now a ton of different technology options to make these flashcards, including a lot of free apps like Quizlet, TinyCards, Brainscape, and a whole host of others. And so these flashcards are really great for memorizing, categorizing, and identifying a lot of basic definitions for class content. And they're also great for object identification if you go the image route. But what we're really talking about here is how we can level up our use of flashcards to make them a great study tool for higher order thinking. So how can we take these flashcards that we all know and love, we're comfortable using, and make them work for classes where we're applying and synthesizing knowledge? And the first idea that we have is to use our flashcards to make concept maps. And so what are concept maps? They're also known as mind maps, and they're a really great higher level studying tool. Why concept maps work so well to do things like apply knowledge or design a treatment plan or things like that is because they are great at identifying how different topics and concepts link together. And this can be from one class session or across multiple class sessions or even across multiple courses. Those connections, when you specifically and very purposefully build them when you're studying, help to increase your recall memory so that the next time you need to consider how those different topics link together, that information is more readily accessible from your memory. And so on the right here, we just have an image of a specific concept map, and you can see all of the different ways that these different topics identified are linked, linkages between some, missing from others, and that the linkages are specifically labeled. So if you've already got a deck of flashcards, it's really easy to turn them into a concept map. Lay them out on the surface, on your table, on a desk, on the floor, someplace like that. And then just simply state how those concepts connect to one another. You might also use concepts from your flashcards to make sure that all the class information is included in a concept map you're working on. So if you're drawing concept map standalone, pull out the flashcards you've made and say, did I include this in my concept map? Did I not? Did I think about linkages between these concepts? So use them to verify the concept map that you're building. And then really challenge yourself with this. Build a concept map for one session and then build it for 2 class sessions or 3 class sessions or for all of the material that's on an upcoming exam. The more comprehensive you can make your concept map, the more linkages between that material you've created and the better your recall memory is going to be, allowing you to apply those concepts more readily when you're being assessed on them. The other way that you can really up your flashcard game is using them in conjunction with a memory matrix. So a memory matrix is a little less chaotic looking than a concept map. It's a little bit more organized. And that's because it typically takes the form of a table, right? So this grid system where there are nice columns and rows, and where a topic and concept intersect, you simply indicate how they're related to one another. And so it's great at showing the relationships between different concepts and topics. Just like with our concept maps, you can use flashcards you already have to build a memory matrix or make a memory matrix work for you. So organize your flashcards into a table. Or once you've made a memory matrix, pull out those flashcards and say, are any of these topics not here? Is there anything I'm missing a relationship between? You can also use these memory matrices to identify linkages that you're really unsure of between concepts. And that can point to an area of the content you're covering that might need a little bit more attention in your studying. Whereas if you're really able to identify relationships between several other concepts, you've likely cemented that information in your mind, and you can spend a little bit less time on that moving forward because your recall memory is already really good in that area. Again, challenge yourself. Generate a memory matrix from multiple class sessions, maybe all of the content that's going to be on your exam. Try and make it as comprehensive as possible so it becomes almost a master study guide for you as you're preparing for that next assessment. And then the last thing is going to be bring your flashcards to the group. Compare what is in your flashcards with what's in others. Do you need to add some things? Do you have some things that maybe aren't actually going to be covered on the exam that you can take away? And then do the same thing if you've made a concept map or a memory matrix. How do they compare to your peers? Are there relationships that you've missed? Are there relationships that you can point out to people that you're working with so that you're all gaining the most knowledge? Also, if you've not made those concept maps or memory matrices, but have a ton of flashcards around, build them together. Pool those flashcards and think about how they connect with all of your classmates. Once you've made a concept map or a memory matrix, have one person in the group remove some of those key concepts or remove some of the connections between those topics and have everyone else in the group add them back in. Can you rebuild that concept map, rebuild that memory matrix? And if you can fill in those connections, you're doing a really good job ensuring that your recall memory in that content area is pretty strong. You can also use the resources you've created to quiz each other. And the more that you're practicing that recall memory, the more those connections are solidified and the better you're going to feel going into an assessment that you have coming up.